All right, I just got the Salsa 2 and I'm gonna open it up. Okay, I want you guys to see this box though. The box it came with actually has handles, which makes it really nice and easy to carry. On the top here, it actually tells you to save this box, because if you ever planned to ship it or anything like that, then you can put it right back in the box. And the box is actually super thick, and I'll show you guys in a minute. Alrighty, take a look. The box is actually really nice and thick, so I can see how this could actually last for a long time. And if you did want to ship stuff, like put it back in to ship, then you absolutely could. There's some other things here though too. Let's see if I can turn this around. On the top of the booth, it actually tells you where things are. And you're gonna notice this is a bag. But there's toolkit and extension cord on this side, USB-C cord and power supply on that side. And then QR code for the assembly videos is right there. So everything is really convenient. Let me push you guys back down. Going to move the angle a bit here so that we can get a better shot. All right, so I've taken this out of the box, and you'll notice this actually comes in a bag instead of a hard case, which is really interesting. It's not that bad. Like, it's not as heavy as the case. It's definitely smaller. And it still has the wheels on it, so really nice design actually. And you have the box if you want to ship it. So this is actually great, because this seems a lot easier to actually be able to put in a car or to be able to lift. There's handles on both sides, all sides. So regardless of how you want to pick it up, you can. We have the assembly videos again here on a keychain, which is great. So you can always have the videos handy. Let's open it up. There we go. All right, so the booth is actually strapped in here. I have 2 poles here, and then I have the base plates. Love you guys. So here's the head, and it's strapped in, which is really nice. Pole, base plate. And let's open this compartment here. Lots of room for stuff. We have our power cable. We have our power brick. And on this side, extension cable and our toolkit. So I'll go over these things in a minute. So I'll put this out on the table. These guys. All right, so this is everything that it comes with. Let's take out the booth. Pulling it out. There's the head. More videos. I'm just going to place this on the side. And we have our 2 poles. And our base plate. This is really nice. There's no front or back to this base plate, so you don't have to worry about putting it on backwards. It also has higher raised feet than the last one. It also has a lot of, like, there's these 2 extra bumpers, so that it's really, really stable, and you don't ever have to worry about cables getting like stuck under there and making it uneven. I also love this new design, because this seems like this is gonna make it so much easier to actually attach your poles. All right, so that's everything we have in the bag. So I'm gonna close it up and roll it off to the side. Okay. All right, we are going to put this together. So the first time, obviously, like plastic piece now. The knobs have like a really nice rubber with these indents. It makes it really easy for them to actually be turned and they don't hurt your fingers. And there's a channel, so things don't get stuck. You actually have like a cable like channel here, like you would if you're installing cables like for your TV and behind the wall. So you're feeding your cord. If you forget to do it from the beginning, it's not gonna get stuck. You can just feed it all the way through. And it fits really nicely on top of this. So this is incredible. That was about 5 turns. Super stable, like, wow, all right. Next, we do the second hole. And again, it just like fits on so nice. No aligning required or anything like that. A couple of turns and it's, again, super stable. Well, I mean, my floor is not even here, but there's no gaps here. All right. So the new design, you'll notice it has a flat back, which is going to make it so much easier to actually vinyl the booth if you ever do want to vinyl wrap it. And just even on the sides, it's a bit more flat. So this is just going to go right on. That's it. Actually, on its own, it's pretty stable. I'm going to tighten this up. Feel it gripping. Nice. So that took me like all of 3 seconds. There's some really cool features on this one. If you had a Salsa before, you had a knob in order to be able to turn it, and now this one is actually just tension. So you can easily move it forwards and backwards. And there's even a way to lock it. So there's not a nut inside of it, which I will show you in a minute. I thought was really cool. But let's grab the camera here. Look at these LEDs. There's the other ones, the original one had like a black gasket that went around, but the LEDs actually kind of like peek through the side. And you'll see there's no handle. So here's the knobs to tighten it, which again, super easy to use. And all you have to do to tilt it is move it back and forth. But here's the really cool thing. Reach under here, you're gonna feel a little loop, and then you pull down, and it opens the front. So in here, there's a lot happening here. You'll notice this handle, because this booth actually turns into a roamer. All you gotta do is lift, and you have a roamer now, which has built-in fans. The LEDs are here, and I'll show you guys how to connect the power in just a minute. Here's the tilting mechanism, and you can actually, like I mentioned, if you are like in an install, for example, and you don't want people to move it, you can just tighten these bolts with this wrench, these 2 wrenches, and it'll lock it in place. So that's really nice. This is that little loop I was telling you about. It's really hard to capture this, but pulling this is what opens the front of your booth, and then this will kind of pop it out. And here is where you can actually put your battery packs, because this booth can be fully battery operated, or it can be plugged into a wall. Let me grab the battery pack so you can actually see it. All right, so this is the battery that is recommended. I forgot to charge this thing this morning and I just plugged it in. It went from 9% to like 84 in less than 20 minutes. But what's really great is there's these little elastics right here where you can actually put your battery if you are going to be doing like a standalone booth. And this one lasts a few hours. So you would need a couple of these to be able to do like a longer event, but they're not that bad. They're about $140-ish on Amazon. I'm sure they'll have a Prime Day, and the links for these will be in the YouTube description below. But this thing, you can just strap it in. You can even have two here, and I'll show you guys how you do that. Put you back down. All right, so I'm gonna just put these little plastics in here. If you also have a Wi-Fi dongle, you can throw it in here as well. And then I'm just gonna grab a cable. This one came with the booth, and again, you also get the actual power brick. So you have the option of plugged into a wall or battery operated. So I'm pretty sure most people won't like to go battery operated. Worry about, a wall plug or anything like that. And again, with this one, you actually, if you forget to feed your cable, you can just feed it all the way down uninterrupted the whole way. So then you can plug it into the wall. But for this one, I am actually going to grab the Roamer part again. Here, put this back on, which it slides on so easily. And then you grab your power cable, plug it in. That's it. Put your excess cable in here. Those fans are on. Close this up. And that booth is ready to go. So you can hear the fans are going. I open it up for you again. There's the other two fans. They're actually really quiet compared to the original Salsa. You'll also notice that there's all of these instructions here that you can do. So you can take them off easily, which is really nice. There's gonna be no residue whatsoever that's left behind. And again, if you wanted to make this a roamer, you just literally lift up and it comes right off. And then to put it back on, you just do that. The other really cool thing too is, again, if you're doing an install, you can actually lock these. So if you wanted to lock the mechanism so that people can't take the booth off, you can do that. And I'm sure there'll be a support article on how to do that. But I also wanted to mention there's actually these holes here. And the reason for that is that you can actually mount this roamer as well with a Vesa mount. So let's take this off. I'm gonna put it down. You'll notice here there's this little white button. So if you just push this up, it releases the handle. So the handle can now come off. The Vesa mount is a universal mount, which means that you can now mount this on a wall. You can mount it to like an extendable arm on a desk. Like there's so many different mounting options that you can actually do now. So that's really cool. And then if you want to turn it into a roamer again, you just click in the handle and you go. Now I will say for weight, not really familiar with roamers because I've only ever tried them a couple of times at PBX and whatnot. They all generally tend to have a little bit of weight to them. So this one's not terrible, but there's also this mount here. So you could have a monopod if you need to have a little break or anything like that. But, you know, I've never been a big roamer person. And I think though, we might actually, well, obviously we're gonna try it now because I have one. This one actually, you know, is beautiful. So we're gonna try out a roaming event and see how it goes. And if you're wondering about roaming, how you operate the booth, you literally just take your battery from your booth connect it again. Now you want to make sure you bring something that has bigger pockets than what I have, but that's it. You're going to put that in your back pocket and then you can roam around and take photos of people all night. So I'm going to install the iPad so that we can actually see how this thing is going to work. Okay, I'm going to install the iPad so that we can actually play around with this thing. So in your kit, you're actually going to get a hex key. And there's 4 of these. You'll also notice this is actually a universal faceplate. So it has the openings on the side and on the top so that you can actually use any of the newer iPads. So I have, this is a 2020, gosh, I don't even know which one it is, but it has a camera at the top, and this is a supported model. So with a Fiesta app, but it'll also support the new iPad 13s, I think, that have the camera on the side. So it's really easy to install these, and you want to make sure that you put these screws somewhere where you're not going to lose them. And it's just the 4 screws that we're taking off here. And it's just a hex key, which is nice. You can just buy it anywhere. I'm going to take out this piece of cardboard, which keep this insert, because if you ever take out the iPad, you should be putting this back in, because you'll void the warranty if you actually turn on the booth without something here. And it's because of the fan. So let me show you guys what this looks like. When you take this off, you'll see this is actually one piece. If you remember in the original Salsa, it was actually made up of a bunch of different components. So now, if for whatever reason you did ever need to replace anything in here, it's just a couple of screws and then this whole thing actually comes off. So to install your iPad, you literally just put it in, grab the power cable, kind of hard to do with one hand, and we're gonna plug it in. Okay, that's it. And then I'm gonna put my faceplate back on and just line everything up. I'm gonna put you guys down. All right, you kind of have to move it up and down a little bit, but again, it fits all of the different iPads, so there's no like bumpers on the inside. And then I'm just gonna put the screws back on, and then that's it. We've installed the iPad. So lots of great improvements from the original Salsa. I mean, this original Salsa was such a great booth to begin with in terms of design and functionality and just how easy it is to set it up. And they've made it better because now it's cleaner, like it's easier to set up, it's way more stable. You never have to worry about putting on your base plate backwards. And you have so many more options now. So you have the roamer option, or you have the wall mount. And then you also have the ability to do, a standard booth as well. So this is really, really great improvements and really well thought out improvements by Photobooth Supply Co. here. Salsa 2 is vastly improved from the original Salsa. Now, the original Salsas are still really great. I don't see myself replacing them. I'm probably just going to continue to use them for some events. We normally actually use them as sharing stations for our 360 or for video booths or something like that. They're still a really great booth. They come in the hard case, all that kind of stuff. But I do love every single improvement that was made on Salsa 2. The ring roamer especially just brings in a whole other option that people can now add to their photo booth business. You can charge extra for roaming, and you don't need to have another booth. You can literally go from a stationary booth. If people aren't coming to you, you can go to them, and they love that this whole thing is battery operated. It also makes it a lot easier if you are someone who travels with their booth. You don't have to worry about ever finding power, or especially for international people, you don't have to worry about a step-down converter or anything like that. Everything's battery operated, and everything is actually internationally rated as well. The improvements to the locking mechanism, beautiful. I love how sturdy it is and just how easily everything goes together. And the bag is really amazing. So everything fits into the bag. It still tears down in a matter of minutes. This is really easy to put into any vehicle that you have, or just to walk around it. There's a lot of compartments too, so that you can add some extra things in there if you have business cards, or if you're a person who does props or anything like that. Your gaffer's tape, all that kind of stuff can go in there. But this booth is just absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to get my hands on a couple more of them. Love the branding capabilities of it as well. And with a nice flat back here, makes it super easy to brand. You can throw a logo on here. And of course, everything else about it is super brandable as well. So Good job finding supply bill on Salsa too.